3 knots. Okay. Something did that.
Some nights feel wrong before anything can be explained. An RV shakes beside a frozen lake with no wind outside, while an old clip shows a crawling figure disappearing behind a rock. If something never fully reveals itself, would you trust your eyes or your instincts? The video was posted on April 17, 2022, by a Scottish outdoor channel called Bushman and Blue, run by a man named Al. The channel centers on hiking and camping trips through Scotland's mountains. Al records these journeys with his dog, Blue. This specific upload followed him far into Hidden Valley, where he planned to spend the night camping high in the snow-covered mountains. At first, the trip seemed like a normal upload for the channel. The valley was silent. The terrain felt familiar, and Al continued steadily through the mountains with Blue staying close. Then, while looking across one of the distant slopes, Al noticed something on the mountainside.
Well, I don't know if you can see, but someone has just fallen from the top of that gully and has stopped about 3/4 of the way down it, and they're moving fast. I'm just listening out and see if there's any noise or any distress signal there. Don't look like they're moving, to be honest.
High in a steep gully, a climber had slipped. In seconds, the man was sliding out of control down the snowy slope. He tumbled hundreds of meters through the gully before finally stopping somewhere below. From where Al stood, there was no way to know how badly the climber was injured. Without hesitating, Al changed direction. Instead of heading on toward his campsite, he turned and started making his way toward the accident area.
Just found these 2 skiers here, so I'm just going to head up and just see if this guy's alright. But it's going to be a tricky one underfoot. Currently on snow. God, I hope he's alright. I cannot leave him without checking though. No chance whatsoever.
As he got closer, Al saw 2 other climbers lower on the slope. One of them was already moving toward the fallen man. They signaled that the climber was alive and seemed to be okay, but Al did not feel comfortable leaving yet. In mountain conditions like that, even a minor injury can become serious quickly. He kept moving until he reached the climber himself, wanting to make sure the man could descend safely.
2 people now. One guy's walked his way down to the other one. He's moved and he shouted and said everything's okay, but well, nearly to the guy. He's up. Looks like he might be limping slightly, but at least he hasn't broken anything. Here he is. What a hellish fall, mate. Are you okay?
The climber had survived the fall, but during the slide he had lost his ice axe somewhere on the slope. Without it, he had no way to stop himself if he slipped again while crossing the gully. Considering how far he had fallen and the terrain around him, the outcome could easily have been much worse. According to Al, the main injury was damage to the climber's ankle, along with the physical shock from the fall. Al stayed with him and helped guide him back down the mountain into the valley below. If Al had not been there to see it happen, and no one had reacted quickly, the situation could have turned life-threatening before help ever reached him. A fall like that on terrain like that, without an ice axe, leaves almost no room for error. It raises a question worth asking: how many serious accidents happen in remote places when no one is there to witness them? This video was uploaded on June 6, 2025 by a hiking channel called Dundee Hikes. The channel follows a hiker as he documents outdoor trips along trails across the United States. On this particular outing, near the Jim Jervis Memorial Picnic area on the Pacific Crest Trail, what started as an ordinary hike turned into something deeply unsettling. The hiker was moving along the trail when something near the parking area caught his attention. Close to the edge of the lot, a car sat at a strange angle, parked dangerously near the cliffside. From a distance, it appeared abandoned, but the closer he moved, the harder it became to dismiss.
Do you ever see anything and just think to yourself, what the heck is going on here? And unfortunately, knowing that you will never know.
Near the vehicle, he noticed a rope hanging over the cliff's edge. He approached, carefully lowered himself only far enough to look below, and immediately realized the situation was serious. At the bottom of the cliff, he found a person in an extremely disturbing condition. He climbed back up and called authorities immediately.
It looks like the sheriff's department sent a helicopter out, and I know they're sending ground units too. Looks like the fire department showed up, so the chopper is moving on to the next thing.
Emergency crews arrived by helicopter not long after. The area around the picnic site changed quickly. What had been a quiet trail stop became an active investigation scene. Investigators started searching the area for evidence while rescue personnel secured the cliffside below.
All the rest of them got on scene here. I gave my statement to the sheriff, and they said they don't need anything else from me, so. And they asked me not to leave, so, okay.
Before he could leave, authorities told him to stay at the scene. He waited as different response teams came through, first fire and rescue, then what appeared to be a crime scene unit, which went down to examine the body and determine what had happened.
I got an update from the sheriff, and he basically said that fire and rescue showed up, said, yeah, he's dead, and left. But they're going to go down and actually examine the body and try to determine if it was self-inflicted or not. Looks like now they're taking the stretcher down to recover the body. I'm assuming then that it's not a crime scene anymore, since homicide has not showed up.
During the wait, one detail about the vehicle became important. The hiker remembered seeing the car parked there as early as Wednesday. A cyclist passing through said the same thing, but other witnesses told investigators they had only noticed it as recently as Saturday, leaving the true timeline unclear.
Well, after about 5 hours, they have decided that it is a suicide and they don't need me to hang around anymore.
After about 5 hours at the scene, investigators finished their work and released him. Authorities ruled the death a suicide. By the time he was allowed to leave, he no longer felt able to keep filming. The weight of what he had witnessed made the rest of the day impossible to document. What stayed with him, and what stays with anyone watching, is how quietly something like this can happen, in a place people go to feel calm. Trails overlooks open spaces. Sometimes they hold more than scenery. And when authorities close a case, it does not always mean every question is answered. The car may have been sitting there for days before anyone looked closely enough to realize something was wrong. That is the part that is hard to forget. How can something like this remain unnoticed for so long in a place people pass through every day? This video was posted on July 25th, 2025, by a paranormal exploration channel called Exploring with Angelo. The channel follows Angelo as he investigates isolated and reportedly haunted places across the United States. On July 24th, 2025, he entered a remote forest area long associated with claims of paranormal activity and strange animal behavior alone, and unaware of what the night would bring. The trip began like many of Angelo's solo investigations.
Possibly the woman of the night, if you will. It's really strange. I keep thinking that I'm seeing like reflections of like eyeballs almost, like off over there. I feel like I'm being watched. It's like I'm almost like seeing eyes off in the distance too, so.
Yes, it's me.
Yes, it's me. Whoa. Who are you?
I've been here 100 years.
That's creepy.
Malicious.
What's malicious? Is there something malicious here with me? I keep hearing something. It almost sounds like something's moaning, but it's quiet. What am I hearing that's making that noise? Okay, what the fuck was that?
He walked through the woods in almost complete darkness, with moonlight barely pushing through the trees. Small noises and quick movements near the edge of his vision kept him uneasy. Then a low, stretched-out moan came from somewhere among the trees. He could not identify where it came from. Something felt nearby.
Bird.
That was loud. What was that? Firefly or is that something else? Okay. What is that? Okay. I heard something really loud down there. Legit, at one point, it almost sounded like something was right here. Like something landed on one of these rocks, like a rock hitting a rock sort of thing. Then it sounded like another moan came from down there. What the hell? What? Okay, how? What the fuck is this even doing here? Why is there a boulder in the middle of the bridge? Okay, I walked past here twice. That was not there. What is going on right now? Okay. Something did that. Yeah, that's a heavy ass rock. I can't even move it with my foot. What the f... Alright, what did that?
As he moved farther into the forest, he started noticing what looked like faint reflections in the dark, short flashes that almost resembled eyes watching from a distance. He could not prove what they were, but the sensation of being watched stayed with him. Then the forest suddenly erupted with noise. A heavy crash shattered the silence. Rocks seemed to shift somewhere close, and when Angelo checked the trail, a large boulder was now sitting in the middle of it, in a place that had been completely open when he passed earlier. After that, the sounds continued: deep moans, sharp cracks of stone striking stone, and movement circling just outside the range of his camera.
This is fucking weird. No freaking way. Something's moving back there. What is that? Oh, I hear something. Okay, in all my days, I've never seen a ghost just lift a boulder. Oh, 3 knocks. 3 knocks. That was back towards camp. Okay, I heard that clear as day. What? I heard something over here. Okay, there is definitely something going on out here.
Those 3 knocks sounded like they were literally like right in that direction.
Then, 3 intentional knocks came from the direction of his campsite. They were loud, clear, and evenly spaced. Shadows moved at the edge of his light, but nothing fully appeared. Angelo headed back toward camp with every noise along the trail, making the situation feel worse. By the time he reached his tent, it was hard to ignore the feeling that something had been deliberately interacting with him. The disturbances carried on through the night. By morning, Angelo packed his equipment and left noticing more unusual signs along the trail as he made his way out. He left without a clear explanation, only the feeling that whatever was in that forest had not finished with the area. A boulder does not move by itself, and 3 evenly spaced knocks do not usually come from the wind. Whether it was an animal, something entirely different, or both together, nothing from that night had a simple answer. So, what do you think was really out there with him? In early January, during the Canadian winter, YouTuber Mo Sargi went off-grid with his friend Chris to camp beside a frozen lake. The footage was made for the Mo Sargi YouTube channel, which focuses on outdoor camping, RV travel, and searching for unexplained encounters in isolated places. Surrounded by snow trees and ice, their RV stood alone with no roads nearby, no homes, and no signs of anyone else. As daylight faded, the stillness around the lake began to feel heavier than expected.
Look at this. Nothing but lakes and like little islands surrounding us. Man, it's so quiet out here. Right now, we're just out here in the Canadian wilderness and where people have actually sighted Bigfoot himself. So I'm hoping we get lucky today. I really want to be able to see Bigfoot. Yo, I could swear, like, bro, no clickbait. I could swear I saw something moving on that hill over there. Way out there. I'm zoomed in right now with my zoom cam. But I swear to God, like, I thought I saw something like way out there. What the? Huh? That was a weird noise.
I heard something in the bush there.
Dude, I actually saw something over there on that piece of land, which we can't get to because there's a lake between us. Yeah, guys, we're hearing some weird noises coming from that side over there now, too. So I just flew the drone, and I didn't see a single animal. Not a moose, not a bear, not a crocodile, nothing. All right, the real adventure begins. We're going to leave the RV behind, and we're going to go off into the forest and hopefully see if there are any signs of Bigfoot. There are prints here. I did walk through here earlier, but not all of these are mine. I don't know whose these are. Oh, they go towards the trail. I wonder if somebody else was like Bigfoot hunting out here. But these stop. Oh, look, whoever showed up here stopped here and then turned around and went back down that way. Yeah, I'm on the ice right now. We're making our way to the other side of the lake right now. We did have to walk across water, so I think this might actually be like a little island. There are some strange rocks over there, actually. But also, caves could mean Bigfoot. What if Bigfoot lives in a cave? Oh, shh. That was a growl coming from our side.
Yeah, it sounded like over here.
Chris off camera was saying that he's seen something that looked like a shack over there, which I can't see it, but we're gonna probably go and explore. But then we heard some loud echoing growl. It is echo. If Bigfoot growls, we're gonna hear it.
Yes. Did you move?
No.
I heard something over there.
Yeah, that's where it came from. That's why I'm aiming my camera that way. I'm officially scared because I don't know what the hell that was. For the record, we just found a big crack in the ice. I don't know how concerning this is, but yeah, we got to be careful. Yeah. I thought I heard a crack. Like, I'm not even joking. I thought I heard a crack. Why does this part here look darker than the other parts? Is it shallower or is it weaker ice? What the fuck was that? You heard that, right? Could that have been the ice? But it sounded like it came from here and then over there at the same time. What? Those are footprints, dude. Oh, look!
Is that a bear print?
No, that's a Bigfoot print. Oh, dude, these are actual Bigfoot prints. There's more here. Let's see if we can like kind of clean this one out. I can't make out this one, that one, this one.
This one almost has like
Yeah,
see? Almost like a hand.
but it looks like,
Thumb, finger, 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 finger.
I don't know. Could be maybe part of a foot, right? Like that's a big.
The outing started peacefully. The frozen lake stretched in every direction, interrupted only by distant islands and snow blown by the wind. As Mo and Chris walked across the ice, loud cracks sounded beneath their feet, followed by deep, strange noises carrying along the shoreline. While moving farther from the RV, they found large marks frozen into the ice. The impressions were uneven and partly covered, making them hard to identify, but they were clearly bigger than their own footprints.
Feels good to be off the ice. Oh yeah, we got the log in here. It's burning still. What is that? Is that blood? Oh, salt. Oh, that's salt. Yeah, I broke my salt shaker. That's right. I thought that was.
I've never heard that before.
Did we just hear that correct? Like, that was a like a.
God awful scream of.
I'm going back down to the lake, dude. Come back down to the lake. Oh my God, there actually might be something here. You good? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my light just so I can see a little bit better. This camera sees better with the light off. Oh, what the? What the f was that? Oh my God, what was that? There's something here, dude. There's something actually here.
When night arrived, the atmosphere shifted. A low howl came from the woods, followed by sharp knocks striking the trees in sequence. The sounds traveled across the lake, then cut off suddenly, leaving only silence behind.
I can't believe that was like not you.
That was not.
Okay, so sitting on my bed, I feel the RV shaking a lot. And I'm like, oh, it's probably just Chris moving. But he's saying it wasn't him. And it's not windy out. And the fire's out, dude.
What the?
I don't see anything that would, like, there's no wind. What the hell could have caused that? Yeah, like, we're the only ones here. You sure you didn't move?
100%. I swear to God.
And there's nothing out here. Dude, what if Bigfoot was shaking our car? Guys, there's no way.
Later, inside the RV, the vehicle suddenly shook. Both men felt it at once. There was no wind, no passing traffic, and nothing visible moving outside. Whatever caused it had no clear explanation. Some viewers later suggested natural causes, pointing to ice moving under pressure, or wildlife passing through the area. Frozen lakes can create loud, disturbing noises, especially at night. Others thought the sound seemed intentional. They pointed to the timing of the knocks, the direction of the howls, and the moment the RV shook, suggesting something knew they were there. It could have been the ice, it could have been animals moving through the forest, or it could have been something that never needed to be seen, only heard. What do you think was out there that night? Late in the fall, Sam from the YouTube channel, Camping with Sam Bananas, arrives at Woodlawn Cemetery in Toledo, Ohio. His channel centers on camping and calm outdoor exploration. Established in 1876, Woodlawn is among the oldest cemeteries in the city with more than 65,000 graves. Locals believe it is haunted. Tonight, Sam still plans to sleep there.
As for the paranormal activity reported in this cemetery, there are countless sightings of a woman in white. Most accounts say that she wanders near the gates. Other accounts have said that she wanders throughout the gravestones. Still other accounts say that she spends time here at the Gunkel Memorial.
Currently under renovation, this memorial is a testament to the Gunkel family. John Gunkel was a mentor to many civic leaders in the Toledo area. He also helped establish the charitable organization known as the Old Newsboys Goodfellow Association.
Legend has it that she lost her daughter in a gruesome fashion and wanders the cemetery looking for her. Now, as far as I can tell, there really isn't a good way to camp near the gates. That's where most of the sightings of this ghostly woman have been reported. So I'm going to plant myself right over there next to the Gunkel Museum, directly in the spot where there have been some reports that she wanders the cemetery. Now, I am aware that some people may have a bit of a disagreement with camping out in the cemetery, and I understand why you would feel that way. I have a little bit of a different perspective. I would say that if you're someone who believes that there's an afterlife and that there is some sort of a presence here from those that have passed on, don't you think they'd like some company? I think if I was buried in one of these sites and someone came to spend the night and spend time with me, I'd probably be kind of happy about it.
Sam starts by walking through Woodlawn Cemetery, explaining that it serves not only as a burial site, but also as a public park for walking, biking, and scenic drives. Under its quiet surface is more than 100 years of history. He stops at the Spitzer family mausoleum, describing their role as successful bankers who helped shape Toledo's financial life.
I'm aware that members of the Titke family are buried in this cemetery. However, so far, this is the only grave where I can find them at. Titke's was, by all accounts, quite an epic grocery store and kind of just a spectacle of a department store. Now, the very, very early days of the Titke store actually started in 1894. But in terms of the modern shop and what it would become, that happened around 1910. That is when they moved on to Summit Street downtown. Their business was on the corner of Summit Street and the northeast corner of Adams, where it would stay for the next 6 decades. While their core business was food, they leased the upper floors of the building to sell furniture, housewares, clothing, and shoes. The brothers Titke also added a bakery, a deli, and restaurants. The concept was ahead of its time, a forerunner of what would be deemed one-stop shopping. Titke's closed for good in 1972. According to the information that I can find, this is the burial site of John, who is one of the heirs of the original family.
Nearby, Sam crosses a restricted bridge over Silver Lake, carefully working around barriers placed to keep vehicles away. As he continues deeper into the cemetery, Sam finds the grave of John Titke, an heir connected to the Titka family business, which once ran a large and advanced department-style grocery store in Toledo. As night gets closer, Sam brings up the cemetery's most famous legend, the Lady in White. Stories say she appears near the gates and around the Gungle Memorial, searching for her missing child. Sam decides to pitch his tent near that exact area. After dark, he speaks quietly, aware that security vehicles are moving through the grounds. He makes a simple meal while distant headlights pass and deer rustle through nearby leaves, keeping the tension constant.
I am super whooped. I'm ready to hit the hay here. Anything crazy happens, I'll definitely let you know. Otherwise, we're going to be back at 'em bright and early, trying to get out of here before the sun comes up. Good night, everybody.
Just a little bit later in the day than I wanted to get up, but I think we'll be okay.
I'd like to have things be as fair as possible. There is an exit of the cemetery right here, right by where I was. And you can exit through this park, and I can get to the road out this way. But I think maybe it's a good idea to try to see if we can leave the same way we came in.
Later, Sam goes out with a headlamp to explore. The mausoleums feel heavy and intimidating in the dark, and he describes a strong sense of being watched. Even with the fear, he finds nothing unusual. As freezing temperatures move in, Sam packs up before sunrise and quietly leaves the cemetery on his electric bike. No obvious paranormal event happens. The isolation, darkness, unfamiliar noises, and worry about being found may explain why the night feels so disturbing. If nothing ever shows itself, but the fear feels real, does that mean the experience was harmless or something else entirely? The next clip was found on Instagram, but it has been reposted on several platforms in different versions, so it may already look familiar. It shows a mountain biker riding with friends on a dirt trail designed for speed-sharp corners, quick climbs, and constant adrenaline. Trails like this often feel remote, but during one downhill stretch as the rider comes fast around a curve, a group of people suddenly appears in front of him. The situation changes in seconds, which is what makes the moment so tense.
Whoa! Shit! Stop!
Are you okay? I'm so sorry. Is everyone okay? Are you guys okay?
Get the dog.
It's okay. Did I hit the dog? Sorry, guys. Here, I'll help you look for some stuff. I am all good. I crash all the time. I just want to make sure you guys are okay. So, this isn't a legal trail. As you can see, there's no signs. It was made by bikers. If you do decide to hike up it, be careful. I should be careful too. I'm sorry. That's also on me. I hope, is he okay? Yeah. I'm sorry. Do you need any?
One detail that stands out is how quickly the rider apologizes, even though responsibility was not completely on one side. At the same time, the trail had no clear signs and the group had no real way of knowing bikes were coming through at high speed. To them, it probably looked like an ordinary path through the woods. Luckily, the rider slowed down just enough to avoid hitting anyone directly. If impact had happened, the result could have been serious injury or even worse. The dog was not hurt, and a warning from behind helped keep other riders from entering the same danger. When there are no visible signs, both sides are forced to react on instinct. So, in a moment like that, would it feel like a simple accident or something that could have been avoided? Jamie is a YouTuber who shares rugged bikepacking and van camping trips on his channel, often recording real, unpredictable outdoor moments that feel raw and unscripted. Unlike many van life creators who show a cleaner, more polished version of the lifestyle, his videos focus on the actual challenge of finding a safe place to sleep in his Volkswagen Transporter, where even a simple camping encounter can quickly become uncomfortable. In February 2025, Jamie posted a video from a solo trip into the Norfolk countryside on a misty, rainy evening. After finding that his planned campsite was blocked by no overnight parking signs, he had to keep driving through the dark to look for another spot. He eventually pulled over along a remote section of Peter's Way, an ancient Roman road known for feeling extremely isolated. The moment he began setting up his cooking area, the mood of the trip started to shift.
Weird singing going on in those woods. I think I'm gonna cook my tea and fuck off.
Jamie talks about hearing strange singing coming from deep inside the woods. While some people might dismiss it as wind or a trick of sound, he is clearly uneasy. Even so, he tries to ignore the feeling and keeps preparing his meal. At one point, he considers walking into the woods to locate the source, a choice that could have made the camping encounter even more dangerous. But as the rhythmic sounds continue, he starts worrying that he may be getting close to some kind of gathering, or a group of people hidden in the middle of nowhere. Although he first tries to push through by opening the back of the van, the discomfort becomes too strong, and he decides to lock himself inside. As he gets ready to sleep, he realizes the singing may not be the only thing to worry about in this camping encounter.
Just got out of the van to have a piss. What the is that? There's a light in the bloody woods now. I'll tell you what, fuck this.
Convinced that someone, or possibly several people, may be watching him with a light visible far from any nearby homes, he decides staying overnight is no longer worth the risk. He leaves the area safely. In that moment, would it be safer to stay and figure out what was happening or leave before the camping encounter became something worse? The last clip in this compilation comes from a YouTube channel called Co-T. Today, the channel mostly posts music, but years ago it shared many different types of content. The footage shown here was uploaded around 6 years ago, though it looks even older. That matters only for context because it clearly does not appear recent or made with modern editing tools. In the video, something that looks like an animal can be seen. However, the title presents it as the full video of a supposed skinwalker, which immediately makes the clip feel much more uncertain and mysterious. There is no confirmed answer for what it is, It could be a simple misidentification, it could have been staged, or it may just be an animal filmed from a strange angle. For a short moment, when seen up close, it almost looks like a human-like figure lying on the ground, but its movement feels wrong. The way it crawls on all fours is quick, stiff, and almost unnatural. After only a few motions, it disappears behind a rock, and that is all the footage gives us. No clear follow-up, no second angle. The low video quality makes it harder to judge, and because the footage is older, it becomes even more difficult to examine. That is exactly why it stays with people. There is enough visible detail to spark the imagination, but not enough to prove anything. If a camping encounter like this left you with more questions than answers, would you trust what you saw or leave before discovering more? That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story. Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.